Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass Wave 5 is officially live, and with that comes the 2.4.0 update. And in today's video, we have to first cover the full patch notes of all of the under the hood changes that come along with 2.4.0, because there have been some notable ones. And then I want to boot up and share my initial gameplay impressions on this new Booster Course Pass Wave and talk about what we may be able to expect from the last wave that will no doubt hit the end of this year. What's up, nation? Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification if you haven't already. And as mentioned, guys, the first order of business for today's video has to do with uncovering what has changed in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 2.4.0 update. And you can see all of the following patch notes over from the Nintendo of America support website, where it says General: improved the performance of some characters and vehicle customizations, adjusted the invincibility time of some characters, adjusted random item selection method in races where custom items is set for when there are 4 players or less, expanded range for when a warning sign displays when a red shell or spiny shell approaches from behind, made it so that warnings about red shell or spiny shell will be displayed with priority over other warnings, made it so that a warning is not displayed when a red shell is targeting opponents, made it so that L and R button operations on the class selection screen and course selection screen in Grand Prix can be conducted on touchscreen as well. This last one under General might be controversial: lowered the appearance rate of mirror and 200cc races in worldwide and regional settings. Now, there were also the following issues that were fixed. Fixed an issue where a communication error occurs when a character catches a boomerang at the same time that a boo brings an item. Fixed an issue where when equipping an item and catching a boomerang at the same time, the player could not throw that item. Fixed an issue for the graph where the me heavyweight class parameters didn't match the actual abilities. Fixed an issue where a warning would not appear when an opponent used a bullet bill in online matches. Made it so the cart doesn't spin or crash when running into an obstruction if the player uses a superstar, bullet bill, or boo at the same time. Fixed an issue where the cart would get stuck between a cliff and a small mushroom and may be unable to move in Wii Mushroom Gorge. Fixed an issue where the player would go off course when transformed as Bullet Bill right in front of the goal in GBA Riverside Park. So obviously a number of different under the hood patches have now been applied as part of this newest update, and really the only one that I could see some players potentially taking issue with would indeed be the less frequent appearance of 200cc and mirror mode CC in online global play. It remains to be seen just how much that frequency has been adjusted, but enough about talking about the update patch notes. Let's now hop into some gameplay. All right, so it's time to hop into some gameplay, and I always kind of get a little bit of that fun enjoyment, kid on Christmas morning type of thing whenever we get new content in Mario Kart, because, you know, it's just one of those things that, especially now with new characters, to look forward to. And I do have to correct, in the last video we talked about, I was thinking there was one more character on the way. There are 2 more. So maybe Diddy Kong plus somebody else. I'll let you guys speculate who it might be in the comments down below, but I am feeling good about Diddy Kong. Honestly, I would just keep it Kongs and have Diddy Kong and Funky Kong come back both, but we're going to play with Comic today. And let's see, do we have, you can play these characters by purchasing the booster course. Well, I have the booster course pass, so you want to explain to me what's going on here? Okay, crisis averted. Apparently, I have not downloaded the booster course pass, or at least I didn't up to this point in time, on my Nintendo Switch OLED Zelda edition, so we still had to kind of learn our way around getting the characters enabled. And I thought right away, I was like, wait a minute, why is there an eShop symbol here? So okay, now to decide which cup we're going to play through, I think we got to go Daisy Cruiser, just because that's the, well, one, it's a squeaky clean, the brand new stage, and then also Daisy Cruiser from the GameCube. Those are definitely the 2 that I'm most hyped to check out. I've said it numerous times in other Mario Kart videos, but Double Dash is still to this day my favorite game. Just the overall mechanics of it, really mainly having that Double Dash feature is what I enjoyed more than anything. But I'm excited to play as Comic here, and I'm actually really pumped to get kind of a feel for this. Might as well be a brand new track, because I've not played any of the tour tracks, and that happens, you know, every time. I kind of enjoy checking those out. There is a lot of like back and forth online. I've definitely seen many people are ready for a new Mario Kart, and I am too. In a lot of ways. I just don't, I knew that Nintendo wouldn't really put one out on this console in terms of just their bigger strategy with their bigger sellers. One, this game didn't stop selling. Two, the other thing is Nintendo, even like according to what went on with Ubisoft and the sales of Super Mario, or not Super Mario, but Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, rather, they like to do kind of one iteration of a game, and they think it's more successful when you stick to one per console generation. And I think that's really what we saw them do and pivot because of how well Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was selling. They figured, even though this is a port, we'll definitely try to not be in first. Oh, this is actually the way to go. See, I am so turned around with the stages. You know, it's one of those things where if something's selling well and they already have, even though this was a port from the Wii U, it's clearly never lost momentum. They like kind of one iteration of each major title to exist per console generation. This just became that. So then it's like, well, let's go ahead and give the players more content since everybody's still buying and playing this game. Yes, it's been bundled in as a Christmas bonus item for like every single year since the Switch has been out. But while that has definitely aided to the sales, it's still month in and month out is on like the top charts when there is no Christmas promotion bundle going on. So you can't argue that the game's just not absolutely incredible when it comes to sales. One of the little adjustments here is we get a little bit more of a heads up. And is that going to screw us over? No, we've still got first. You get a little bit more of a heads up on red shells now. And not playing this game all the time, I want to say that was slightly noticeable, that like it seemed like I had more time to be aware that there was a red shell trailing me than before. And maybe it like doesn't pay attention to if you're behind a certain curve and things. I'm excited for this. You know, the one thing, and this was the one complaint I will say, on the Booster Course Pass, we did not get near enough double dash tracks. Like, unless if the next wave is loaded with them, and I think there's two if you look at the soundtrack leak, one of which better be Donkey Kong. What's the level called? Now I'm spacing it, but you know, the Donkey Kong level from Double Dash. Like, that absolutely has to be there because that's literally my favorite level of all time, and one of those that I just played over and over. Even like the time trials, trying to like outdo my own best time and things, and I just absolutely love that stage. So I'm really hopeful that we get that DK Blast, Barrel Blast, something like that. Anyway, I'm ready to dive through that again. It is really cool to see Daisy Cruiser in all of its glory. I will say I love like the water being filled up where this used to be just an empty thing. Now you're underwater. Cool little additions like that. I actually have to reorient myself for this level a little bit, because let me know in the comments down below. But for me, I always played, and see, I went to the right there inherently. I always played in mirror mode on Double Dash for whatever reason. This game, and this time around, I haven't really done that. In fact, if I went mirror mode on a lot of the regular deluxe tracks, I would be completely turned around, as I am with Daisy's Cruiser playing it in normal mode. I don't know why. I just found the fact that mirror mode, since it was like the last one that you unlocked, I felt like it was the true, you know, final version of everything. So I always stuck to that when playing in Double Dash, and now I'm kind of paying for it on Daisy Cruiser with the level layout. And we'll see, we will go left instead of right. We get the item blocks here. But, you know, some of the people, there's some naysayers online about the graphical presentation of these Booster Course Pass waves. I still think they look incredible. I love having a reason to boot up Mario Kart 8. It's better than nothing. And I know that that's not like the best take to always have when it comes to Nintendo, because they definitely do their fair share of, like, you know, fan service practices and not really treating their fan base right. But I will tell you this, we could very well be in a situation where we had no new content for Mario Kart for essentially 10 years, because that's probably what's going to ultimately happen whenever we're talking about next gen and then brand new from the ground up Mario Kart being developed for that game. So at least we didn't go a full 10-year gap. This one's still selling and we're still getting the content. In terms of what's going to come in Wave 6, 2 characters, Diddy Kong, Funky Kong, that's the team that I'm going to be on. Moonview Highway from Wii, I also really love this one. Mario Kart Wii was probably the other one, second to Double Dash, that I spent the most time in. Mario Kart 64, a little bit growing up, but not near as much, other than battle mode, a ton of battle mode with friends. And Double Dash was really the height of everything, and then we still played it quite a bit. But Wave 6, 2 characters. I'm going to say Diddy and Funky. I want to hear, you know, who you guys want to see make it over, because there's definitely some crazy possibilities. And then in terms of, like, I guess what we can expect update wise besides that, it definitely seems like Nintendo is still continuing to tweak the finer mechanics of this game in terms of just balancing things and fixing any minor bugs that are just still out there today, as you could see with the patch notes we read through at the beginning of the video. So I would expect another small patch of something like that. That said, we may not get, you know, anything in terms of more menu customization, item customization, because whenever we got that brand new item customization, I was pretty surprised by that. We're gonna get blue shelled, just because the simple fact that we never saw them add in any additional menu to this game, anything since it launched with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And then they just straight up gave us the ability to customize which items we want to have. I don't know what else they could really add in terms of like existing customizations like that, but it did make me think like maybe they're going to start to toy around with different game modes. Although I do think that instead of it just being a small update like what we saw with item customization, they would probably advertise game modes more in the realm of like additional content. So I think we would have heard that those were coming if they were indeed headed to the console, or to the game rather. So I do think Wave 6 is just going to be those two characters in our final batch of courses. And I'm just, you know, again, pulling for DK Barrel Blast. That's what it is, DK Barrel Blast. I'm like 99% sure. Watch me be wrong about that. We're doing okay though so far. We got one more course to just briefly check out, and then we will of course call the video. But this is so much fun. You know, it's another reason to boot up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's another reason to hop online and play with your friends. And now we get to see squeaky clean sprint rather, which, you know, these new stages so far have not disappointed. So I'm going to keep my expectations low. We're clearly like essentially in a bathroom here, but you know, they really have done a lot in the way of, I guess, being somewhat creative with these new stages. Not to mention they've all looked top notch. I will say, you know, to kind of entertain some of the, wow, we're going down the bathtub drain here, to kind of entertain some of the criticisms around the, you know, the graphics. They don't bother me, but you can, if you really wanted to examine each track and the textures of the graphics from, you know, the base course passes, the base courses to what we see added in, because largely a lot of the idea, I think, and the reason that we have this to begin with, these booster course pass waves, has to do with Mario Kart Tour and them continuing to develop for that. That is a mobile game clearly, and not the same level of graphical care is put into it. They essentially took those tour tracks and the levels that were playable on tour. I went into first at the wrong time. That, you know, they essentially took that and then they touched it up, but you could definitely tell that it wasn't made from the ground up for with the Switch in mind in terms of what it could do when it comes to the graphical presentation. So that's kind of a downside. Not at all worth mentioning as far as like a reason not to pick up and play this. I mean, you're playing Mario Kart. You're not playing it for cutting edge textures and, you know, 4K HD resolution. Like, I mean, we get HD, we don't get 4K clearly, but you get the idea. It's a fun, enjoyable game to boot up with friends or by yourself or online and kind of have fun that way. It's not about exactly how the textures look on these stages. I'm surprised we landed that green shell shot. I know that like the competitive scene has definitely been probably pretty crazy around this. I shouldn't have got rid of that red shell. I don't know why I did that. You know, I'm sure some people are like top-notch skilled at this thing. It's honestly something that I would need to go back and put quite a bit more time into this to really try to even get to where I once was as far as Mario Kart level. But, you know, my favorite thing to do is still I have a couple buddies that will still like want to play Double Dash as opposed to this, and we're going to get second on our last one. Oh well, we almost got it perfect all four, but you know, I still like to boot up a Double Dash from time to time and play that like locally, just for reminiscing and, you know, kind of going through one of those classic games. My big hope is that whenever the next Mario Kart comes out, we might have a Double Dash mode. Not that the whole game has to be a Double Dash mechanic, but that you can play in a Double Dash mode. I think that's the best of both worlds, and it gives you a lot of reasons to expand the character roster, which is what I really hope we see them do, because there's no reason not to turn Mario Kart also into something of a Smash Bros. Ultimate scenario where we just have a ton of crossover from different series. But anyway, we're going to cut the video here. I want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, your personal thoughts and opinions around Wave 5. Are you enjoying the new courses so far? What do you think about the tweaks that we saw in terms of the updates? And what do you want to see from Wave 6 when it comes to new characters and final courses? So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.